All right, guys, welcome back to Bench Talk, and it is another Wildcat Wednesday, and I am here with a fantastic guest. It is Gino from G&GVarminting. Gino's coming to us from South Africa, and Gino, again, has been shooting a 243 for basically 10 or 11 plus years and has a lot of experience using this caliber in his varminting, which is actually for work. And if Gino, if you wouldn't mind kind of giving some of the details to the listeners and introducing yourself, it'd be awesome, man. Again, I really appreciate it, and thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So basically I'm using my rifles to generate an income to hunt predators over here in South Africa, and the main species that we target are mostly the blackback jackal and caracal. So blackback jackal are more or less the size of a western coyote, because I understand that the western coyotes and the eastern coyotes are different sizes, or they tend to be a bit lighter or heavier. So these are at the most about 30 pounds. And then caracal they look like a small mountain lion, and they tend to be the size of a bobcat. So what they do is they prey on sheep and even cattle when they go to lie down on game, because the big industry in South Africa is game ranching, where animals are cared for and bred in a high fenced environment, and they are bred for a market for international hunting, local hunting, and even meat exports. So with all those animals around, there's a lot of predators, and we've even got large predators, but there's a lot of red tape to cross before you can kill hyena and leopard and lion and all those things. So we don't target those. We only target the caracal and jackal, and even some warthogs as well. But for that, the 243 actually just works perfectly for me.
That's awesome. That's super cool to hear. How did you, I guess, get into this as a gig for, where you live in South Africa?
Yeah, so basically I grew up on a farm. My parents didn't farm themselves, but we were a big family. I'm one of 6 boys, and the older farmhouses tended to be bigger and much more affordable. So my parents used to rent houses on farms, and we used to grow up there, and there were always sheep around and jackal around and critters to kill, like pheasants and guinea fowl and you name it. So naturally the predation factor was always there, and then the farmer whose property we used to stay on, he would go out to shoot jackal at night, and he would ask me to go along with him. And I was about 14 or 15 years old at the time, and that was the first time I've ever seen any animal come to a call, and the bug just absolutely bit hard. So,
that's awesome.
So when I finished school, I actually took a gap year in school to go qualify as a professional hunter as well. And then I went back to school, finished school, and instead of going to university like the rest of my friends, I went into the hunting industry, and I did some guiding for international clients, and I went over to Tanzania for a season and we hunted some big game there, where I was an apprentice to an outfitter, and there I did some calling on hyenas as well, so that was quite cool. Got back, went into game capture, did that for a while, noticed I'm never going to get a wife if I'm in the bush 180 days a year. So I took a normal job in an office, and kept on hunting predators part-time and basically as a sideline hobby. And then I noticed that there's actually a bit of an income to make out of it. So about 10 years ago, I started doing it full-time.
That's incredible. So,
yeah,
like 2015, 2016, you started doing it full time?
Yeah. Yeah, before that, for about 6 years or call it, 6 or 7 years before that, it was only a part-time weekend thing where I would help some friends out and get the odd paying customer, but not that big. But it just grew and it snowballed. And a good friend of mine and I used to hunt together every weekend. His name is Chaim. He's actually the other G in the G&G. But he's still got a business to run, so he only does it over weekends and when he's got time. But I do it full time now, so that's what I do to provide for my family. That, along with a little equipment shop, call it a gun shop if you will. So the two businesses just run hand in hand.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, what better way to get nice rifles and components and everything like that besides running your own little shop? That's convenient.
It helps.
When I guess when you were a kid and you started doing this night hunting with the farmer that you guys lived on his place, was this something where, you know, he's like someone who got you into shooting custom rifles or wildcats, or did that just kind of develop as the years went on, you just trying to get something more capable for what you're doing?
Yeah, so not really. He was always using a 223, and at the time I was 16, and with our previous gun laws, we were allowed to own firearms at 16. So when I turned 16, I went and bought a 308, which is totally the opposite of what I'm doing now and what I'm using now, but it worked. That old rifle really worked, but it was lacking. The recoil was too much for serious nighttime shooting, and the trajectory was not flat enough. Even with the light 110 grain VMAX bullets from Hornady, it just did not do the job effectively, or as effectively as it could, or as it should have. And the farmer that got me into it, apart from his 223, he had a 308 Norma Magnum, which always intrigued me because no one had it. So I've always had a thing for something different to the mainstream. So then I think it was in 2014, I acquired a rifle from a friend, and that was a 6mm Dasher, which is also a cool cartridge, and that was one of the first ones in South Africa back then. That rifle worked. I ended up killing the barrel in 1,500 rounds, and then I just said, well, if I'm gonna eat barrels in under 2,000 rounds, I might as well do it as quick as possible with as much velocity as possible. So I went to the 243 Ackley, which at the time was quite popular in South Africa as well, because at that time there still are a lot of guys doing culling of game and also predator hunting. It's quite a big industry, and a lot of them had the 243 Ackleys, the 6mm Dashers. Nowadays there's a few 6mm BR Ackleys, the BRAs, 22 to 50s, 22 to 50 Ackleys, 223 Ackleys. So yeah, they're popular over here, but a lot of guys are moving back to smaller case capacities for barrel life, but I just don't care. I mean, it's a consumable for me. It's a 6-month process to replace a barrel if you need to jump through all the legal hoops, but I just plan accordingly, and I've got 2 rifles that I use, so as soon as one's out of commission, the other one steps in and gets the job done.
That's awesome. And so with those 3 rifles, do you have them all set up the same way?
It's actually 2 rifles, and they are 100% identical. So both are on crude Remington 700 actions with Krieger-Tech diamond triggers, Macmillan A5 stocks, and Krieger 30-inch heavy Palmer barrels.
Oh wow, that's a long barrel.
Yeah, it's very long, but that's what you need to get the velocities that I'm getting. And they are set up in a 4-groove configuration with a 1 in 14 twist rate. Yeah, so it's actually what the bench race guys tend to use for their PPCs and their 6mm bureaus, shooting the 60 to 70 grain class bullets. So I've actually got two loads that I'm using at the moment, or that I've got. One is a 70 grain Nosler Armageddon, running, depending on how dirty the barrel is, at about 3,900 feet per second. And my main load is running 55 grain Nosler Ballistic tips at just touching 4,400 feet per second.
That's real fast for that bullet.
It's smoking. It's absolutely smoking.
And with running that, I mean, the 55 grain is your primary load?
Yeah, that's what I'm running at the moment, just because it's got such a good point blank range. It's literally a 350 yard point and shoot round at a coyote size target.
And so I guess keeping in mind that load with your rifle setup, what are you seeing for kind of barrel life using that barrel in a hunting application?
So I've got a very strict cleaning regime. After the 6 Dasher died in 1,500 rounds, it was supposed to give me 5,000, but I ran that rifle dirty. So now if a rifle is shooting this week, if I do any kind of shooting, even if it's just one shot, one jackal, the following week, the Monday morning before I start my week's work of hunting, I would clean that barrel down to bare steel. And I found that helps to lengthen your barrel life greatly. So I'm thinking I've seen anywhere between 1,900 and 2,300 rounds in a barrel.
And how many of those barrels do you think you've burned out so far?
A few. A few. I'm good.
That's a good problem. That's a good problem to have.
Yeah, I've just gotten one back now recently, so that's unfired in my gun safe. I still need to get a load for that, but it's sitting there, the other member of the Ackley twins. So that's just waiting to go.
No, that's awesome. While we're doing the podcast, you're heading out on this little stint on kind of one of these trips. How many animals do you think you're harvesting?
Well, it depends on the area we're going to. For January, I killed 68 predators. Usually, you're looking at about 500 a year.
That's awesome. And with running those 55s or the 70s, I guess, on these coyote-sized animals, or even those cats you were talking about that are bobcat size, basically. What are you seeing for performance-wise that's driving you to stick with that versus going with like a 22-250 or one of these other BR cartridges that a lot of the other local guys are running?
Yeah, so I did a lot of research and simulations in apps like Quick Load and so on. And it seems like if you're taking a 55 grain bullet, you are reaching higher velocity easier with less pressure if your bore size is bigger. So if you, let's say you are running a 22 Cheetah Mark 1. I don't know if you've heard about the round before.
No, I haven't.
Okay, so the 22 Cheetah Mark 1 is basically, you can call it a 243 Ackley neck down to 22 caliber.
Okay.
So to get 4,400 feet per second out of that with a 55 grain bullet you're gonna run into pressure before you reach those velocities. And with the 6 millimeters with the 55 grain bullets, you're getting those velocities with a little less pressure, so you're reaching it easier. There is a bit of a trade-off with ballistic coefficient, but by the time that the wind is strong enough to bother me, I'm not in the field anymore. Then I can't hear the jackal vocalizing, or I can't hear my predator caller, or my vehicle is shaking from the wind. So ballistic coefficient is not a big factor for me. as is trajectory. So that's basically, there's a sweet spot in this, and I believe that the 6mm are just the best with that, with a 55 grain bullet or a 70 grain bullet for that matter.
You reload, right? So clearly for the Ackley cartridge, kind of what's your process? And I guess, are there any kind of caveats with that? Any like hitches or any weird stuff with the cartridge that you've noticed that I guess if someone was looking to get into it, they should know about?
Yeah, so one of the biggest plus points for the 243 Ackley cartridge is that on the parent case, the 243 Winchester, they are very prone to generate a donut in the case. So where the shoulder and the neck joins, right there, it creates a ridge because of that very shallow shoulder angle on the 243 Winchester. So when you fire form that case out to the 243 Ackley, you've got very little brass flow creating those donuts. So you're not getting pressure spikes when you seat your bullet past that donut. So that's a good thing, and it's so easy to load for. I take brass out the packet. At the moment, I'm running a batch of Winchester brass that I just annealed beforehand, trimmed them all to the same length, ran an expander mandrel through the necks, and I fire formed them. They're going on about 12 cycles at the moment. And I've also got a batch of Lapua brass, and those are literally just run the expander mandrel through to make sure the necks are all the same, and then I just go shoot them. And then they fire form out to the Ackley. So they just work. It's so easy to load for, and there's a lot of local knowledge for the round as well with bullets. Most guys in South Africa are using the 87 grain bullets in it, but for my application it's not necessary. So there's a lot of data for that, but on the 55s not much, and on the 70s quite a bit as well. But it's really easy to load for without any issues that I believe.
No, that's awesome to hear. And I guess a question, I mean, I have found that like annealing for me for at least my Ackleys is really important. I see after a couple firings, I see kind of decreased accuracy if I'm not annealing. Are you annealing every firing?
Every firing. So basically what I do, my process is, if I get back from the field, my cases get deprimed with a handheld depriming tool, and then I clean them in a rotary tumbler with a stainless steel tumbling media, just to get the blood and dust and mud and everything off. And then from there it goes to the induction annealing machine. Out of the annealer it goes to a full-length sizing die where I bump my shoulders back, give or take 2/1000 of an inch, and then run them through an expander mandrel to give them 2/1000 of neck tension, and then I just load and shoot them again.
Yep, that's basically the identical process that I'm doing. That yeah, no, I mean, I remember for years I was trying to figure out kind of my reloading process, and I had a local guy basically do that, like describe the exact reloading process you did, and I started doing it. I do it for every single cartridge now, and it's just the easiest way to do it.
It does, and it works, and your cases last so long. And I mean, over here, our components are expensive. You're looking at about $200 for a box of Lapua brass for 100.
Yeah, for us it's about 150 probably.
Yeah, and you're looking at about, I'm guessing, about 60 cents for a bullet, for a projectile.
Gosh, that's what you're getting for those 55s is 60 cents a bullet? That's crazy.
Yeah. Primers, you're looking at about 20 cents a primer on a CCI BR2.
Yeah.
So it's expensive. So might as well make every shot count and have your components last as long as possible.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I'm on the same page. Over here, I'm running right 260 Remington brass that I neck down to 243 and then fire form, so I can get small rifle primer brass. And so yeah, same thing. Going through that whole process is a pain in the ass. So yeah, I have an amp annealer. That's what I use now, and I love it.
Yeah, I've got the Fluxion Annie. That's also just an induction annealer. Works. And then on the small primer brass, Peterson makes 243 Winchester small primer brass. Peterson.
Yes, Peterson does. I saw that, and I'll be honest, I thought about buying some, and I was like, everyone's shooting alpha out here, all the comp shooters and stuff, and I was like, I'll stick with that and try it. I mean, it's been good to me, but I'm sure Peterson's is just as good.
Yeah, so we've got quite strict gun laws. So if we get stopped in a roadblock and your head stamp is showing 260 Remington and you don't have a license to own a 260 Remington rifle, you might get some problems. Yeah, so it's best to just run the correct head stamp over here. Then again, it helps with the gun shop having a dealer's license where there's less issues if you would be stopped in a roadblock. But it's better to be safe than sorry, because we're driving around, say 3 o'clock in the morning, and that time of night you don't feel like arguing with the cop on a power trip.
Yeah, no, I could definitely see that.
Yeah, nothing against policemen though. I think there's a difference between your policeman and our policeman, because
that's what I was going to ask. What is like law enforcement out where you're at in those rural areas? Is it like where we're at? We have like for city areas, it's like local police departments for the city. So like the city we're around in the Bay Area, it'd be San Jose. It'd be a San Jose city police department, and then for the county, they would have like sheriff's deputies, which are basically just a different version, but they cover the unincorporated areas outside of cities.
Yeah, so over here in the cities, they've got metro police.
Okay.
Mostly, and then there's general police as well, and then we've got traffic police and national traffic police. But there's it's tough because and it's actually quite sad to say it. Sorry, I'm get through a toll gate, yeah. The majority of our law enforcement is very corrupt, so they thrive on bribery. So they would look for an excuse to make you pay them I'm trying to figure out what the exchange rate is. Say a $5 or $10 bribe just to let you go. So you need to make sure everything is 100% correct so that they don't have a reason to give you hell. But that's Africa.
That's crazy to hear that. I mean, here in the States, it's for most law enforcement agencies, like you're not even, if someone tried to give you a gift, like tried to give you food, a cup of coffee, like a Starbucks gift card for a coffee shop, all of that, if your department finds out that you took something like that, and we would call it a gratuity. I mean, if someone's trying to actually take a bribe, they're going to get fired. But even if you're taking something as like a reward, someone's like, hey man, here's a Starbucks gift card. If you do that, you can potentially get terminated.
The cops would stop you at a roadblock, check your license and everything, and he would openly ask you to buy him lunch.
That's actually very disappointing. That sucks.
But we're used to it, and it's not everything's bad. We've got an absolutely brilliant country. It's beautiful, and I like to call it organized chaos.
Yeah.
I'm very happy, and I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. I mean, we've got the best hunting opportunities, and we've got a lot of freedom.
Yeah, I mean, I just like we were chatting about before, I would die to make a trip in 2027 or 2028 to go out with you and go varmint hunting. That'd be
Oh, you'll love it.
that'd be incredible. And I guess for the guys, and I'd find this super interesting because I love calling coyotes out where we're at, and I'm right in the western states. But what kind of what sounds like prey distress or vocals from the jackals are you guys using to call them in?
Yeah, so there's a few different classes of vocals that we're using. So we've got single or solo jackal calls, where one would call and wait for a response and call and wait for a response. And then there are social calls where there are more than one jackal calling at a time, and there are territorial calls as well. So at the moment we are right in the middle of social season, where the pups are starting to explore and checking out their own territories at the moment, because we're in the middle of summer here. And then in the winter time is territorial time, and then that goes into denning season, which is August, September, October, and a bit into November as well. So we're mostly using jackal vocals to locate them and to get them fired up. And then after that, we're using prey distresses like antelope distresses, hares like your jackrabbits, and your cottontails. We've got similar little rabbits to those that we use the sounds, and we're even using American sounds on the prey distresses, because a rabbit's a rabbit in my book.
Yeah, no, that's awesome to hear. And what kind of collar, like brand, are you running?
Fox Pro. So,
oh, okay. What model?
Yeah, X2S.
Okay. No, those are cool. I haven't gotten a chance to play with one yet. I bought like way back. I bought a Krakatoa 2, right when they came out. Yeah. Yeah. So I still run one. I love it. Dual battery packs. It's never failed me. So and it has an X24 remote. So I mean, it's a newer one, but it's still probably 10 years old.
Yeah, they're great. I mean, mine's been running for 6 years, and it's taken an absolute beating, but it just does not stop working.
Yeah, no, I do really appreciate Fox Pro. I mean, they might not have the best sounds compared to some of the other American-made ones like the Lucky Duck and stuff like that, but they're pretty easy to work on, and you can get replacement parts. I like them a lot.
Yeah. Mike Dillon's got a great business, and they are great people. So I'm very fortunate to be on their pro staff for South Africa as well. So being the only member over here, so I'm happy with the way they service our market and the products that they make for us, just because they're so rugged.
And it's always good to hear, especially with someone like you, who you're doing this for literally a living. It's not you're doing it, for shits and giggles. You're out there, 5-6 days a week doing this, compared to weekend warriors like myself.
Yeah, there's a couple of full-time guys over here that do what I do, and there are even a few that do it more than I do, and everyone just runs Fox Pro. The backup that we're getting from the local Fox Pro importer is just it's unparalleled. So it's an easy choice just to run Fox Pro and get it done with.
Yeah, and I guess that was kind of what I was getting at. I wasn't even sure what you guys could have imported over there, that's coming from the U.S. And for I guess you're primarily nighttime hunting, or are you doing any daytime?
We used to do it in daytime as well. That was before thermal got in the market. We would do day calling on some light shy jackal. But since thermal got in the market, we're not doing any daytime calling anymore. We do the odd helicopter call in the day on predators, but not as much. I would say 99% is calling at night with the thermal telescope. and all our rifles are suppressed. We don't have any regulations on suppressors, which is great. We can manufacture, sell, buy, do whatever you want with the suppressor over here.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, I wish it was the same here. Unfortunately, it's a state by state basis in the U.S. So I'm in California, and so we can't have suppressors.
Over here, it's literally a consumable. Every time you replace a barrel, you replace a suppressor. It's just as easy as that, and they are very cheap. The expensive ones are like, I would guess, about $600 for a really expensive one.
And do you feel like, I guess, with the setup, the way you're running your Ackleys with the 30-inch barrels, right, super fast, either 55s or 70s, does it sound suppression still pretty good with those, with the cans you're running?
Yeah, because I'm running a bit higher volume suppressors. So the bigger your internal volume of the suppressor, they tend to be a bit quieter because it's catching all the gas. So there are ones that are effective, but on the 55 grain bullets, I'm running 52 grains of CFE 223 powder. So
oh my gosh. I was actually going to ask you about that. What powder you were running primarily for the 243 Ackley? That was a good segue because I kind of forgot about it. What powders primarily are you running?
Yeah, on the 55s, I'm running CFE 223. And the charge is very high, so I would not recommend anyone to duplicate it. But I'm running 52 grains of it.
Yeah, and that's a pretty really untemp stable powder. I mean, are you seeing any crazy variations in velocity?
Not really, because I'm mostly working at night. I'm not getting any issues. I mean, it hardly ever goes over 75 degrees Fahrenheit at night, so I'm happy running that. I've got another load on a powder that it's a local powder that we've got. It's called S355, and that's similar to Wildcat.
Okay.
And that also works well. It's a good alternative, and I'm actually running that on the 70 grainers.
Okay.
Yeah, it's also a double base.
Oh, okay. And that's the load that you're running, the 70 grainers at like 3,900?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's got to put big holes in stuff.
It does, but the 55 grainers are impressive, man. I'll tell you, those Nosler ballistic tips with a solid base, they punch high or very high above their weight class. Yeah, so especially at the velocities I'm running, I mean, I'm running 400 feet per second faster than a 70 grain bullet, and that really does make a difference in how hard they hit and how they get to work with expansion, because we've got zero market for any furs or skins, so a fur friendly round is not what we're looking for.
Yeah, you guys are looking for max terminal performance, correct?
Yep, exactly.
And with you running those 55s that basically mock Jesus, are you just basically just immediately seeing just that light switch with that just massive transfer of kinetic energy?
Yeah, it literally knocks their legs off. If you're hitting them broadside on the shoulder, the legs start flying. It literally shoots. It decapitates them if you're hitting them right on the neck.
Being granted, right, we're not promoting gruesome, but you need things to die fast, right? That's the point. We want one shot, one kill.
Yeah, it's very humane if you think about it.
No, that's awesome. I love hearing the setup. What thermal are you guys running?
Knockpicks.
Okay, and which one from Knoxpicks?
The Ace S60R. So it's the 1280 sensor one with the 60mm lens, with the integrated rangefinder with the onboard ballistics, and okay. It's an amazing optic. I mean, it's since that got in the market, all the old stuff just looks like a black and white television.
Bad part, the state that I'm in, same thing, can't have thermals. And the state my dad lives in, Nevada, which is just this next state east of California, it's actually legal for you to go out and thermal hunt mountain lions at night with a thermal. You're good to go, and I'm set. I want to try to do that before it gets outlawed.
Yeah, it sounds like a party to me.
Yeah.
You, I guess, what's the biggest predator you've taken or been able to take, with your 243 Ackley setup, or just in general?
Well, basically an eland bull, which that's pretty much as big as a moose.
Yeah.
A big bull eland would go up to about 2,000 pounds.
Funny enough, I've actually seen one in Texas.
Yeah, so they're big.
The world's biggest antelope.
Yeah, so I do most of my hunting with the 243s on general game as well. If I don't bow hunt, because I do so much rifle hunting with the varmint hunting business that it takes the pleasure out of hunting. So I like to book an archery hunt every year for me and my family to go on, where I would shoot with a bow and my wife would hunt with a bow and my kids hunt with a crossbow. So it just connects us to the animals a bit better. So we enjoy that.
No, that's awesome. Do you guys, do you guys stay in South Africa for that hunt, or are you guys going somewhere else?
No, we mostly hunt in South Africa, and sometimes we would go to the neighboring country of Namibia to go hunt there as well. We've got friends who live and farm there. We do what we do over here, so we go and visit them and we go hunt. And how it works over here is it's way different to America, where in America you've got hunting seasons. We do as well, but the state does not own our animals. We own our animals. So if Farmer John has kudu on his farm and he can provide a certificate of adequate enclosure, those kudu are his. And even if he does not have a high fence and the kudu can come and go as they please, he just needs to wait for hunting season, and then those are still his animals to decide what happens to them.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's way
that's
different.
crazy.
It's cool. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, we've got on a exempted property, we've got 0 limits or daily limits or bag limits on the animals. So we've actually gone out and shot 150 springbok in a day. So it's possible.
And a lot of that's for culling, yeah?
Yeah, it's for a meat market and for population control. So we would get the numbers down, and then all that meat gets processed and sold into the market. So all those animals need to be headshot as well. So it's all brain shots, and it needs to be slaughtered in a specific way at specific standards. The meat gets inspected, and then it gets transported by a refrigerated truck.
Oh, wow. That's that's awesome that you guys are able to do that. The only thing close enough that I can even kind of think about is like out in Texas, kind of where they have huge hog problems. Guys go out and do a bunch of thermal hunting. They will truck and trailer all their dead hogs to dog food facilities. They basically just grind them up and make them to dog food.
Yeah. So if you plan your trip to South Africa at the right time, there's actually a good chance that you can join us on a call like that. And that's usually the last week in June, either between the last week in June and the first week in July. So plan accordingly.
Man, that would be the trip of a lifetime to get to go mess around with that. That'd be so cool. I love hunting. I think that's so awesome that you've made that your job. Like, really, that's incredible.
Yeah, no, you'll love it. You'll love it over here.
Awesome. Well, you have anything else you think you should mention about the 243 Ackley or any of your experiences with it?
Well, yeah, I think I think P.O. Ackley was absolutely way ahead of his time with what he created from standard calibers or standard rounds. We call it calibers, you call it cartridges. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just great. Nowadays, some of the newer stuff, like the stuff that Rich Sherman created, those Sherman Magnums and the
Yes.
SSs, they are amazing. And I would go as far to say that Mr. Sherman is today what Mr. Ackley was in the 1950s.
Yeah, no, I'd probably agree. The Sherman cartridges all of them are pretty badass. I haven't run one yet. I'm just sticking with the Ackleys, but yeah, no, they're all awesome.
Yeah, those Shermans are picking up over here, and they, especially with the newer high ballistic coefficient bullets, and that's something I haven't gotten into yet, but I am planning to. I used to shoot a 260 Ackley for a while, and that was a great round, but I think with the newer bullets like these 25 caliber 134 grainers or 135s, that 260 Ackley case take down to 25 caliber might be a pretty decent hunting round as well.
Yeah, so funny enough, I actually did look at doing that. I was going to do that rifle build earlier this year, a 25 by 260 or a 25 by 243 Ackley, and I was actually having a really hard time getting a reamer with like a custom freebore. So I'll be curious to hear if you end up doing it and kind of what your results are. But I think those would be mean little rounds going. I don't know. I bet. What, 134s, maybe 3,100 feet a second?
Yeah, I'm guessing you'd run them at about 3,150, and they'll absolutely work magic in wind.
Oh yeah, no, for sure, definitely, and I think that velocity is definitely easily attainable if you're going to run it in a 30-inch tube.
Yeah, easy. I'd most likely run it in a NRL Hunter rifle, so 26-inch Sendero profile, a bit lighter, and even drop the velocity a bit to get the recoil down, say to 2950, and it would be a mean competition round.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I guess prior to, even going any further or going further on it, do you have? I didn't even realize that you shot competitively. What's your NRL hunter setup, or what's your setup that you're shooting for matches?
I actually used to shoot NRL 22 quite seriously on the 22 long rifle. So there I was using one of the Victrix rifles from Italy. But in the last year or so, actually I had a goal to place in the top 10 on our national logs just once, and then scale down a bit, and I did that. I tied for 10th place with my shooting partner, and both of us we stopped shooting. He's got a farm to run, and I've got kids doing school sports every weekend, so I had to quit shooting that. So at the moment, I'm not doing any competitive shooting, but the NRL Hunter matches are growing over here. So that's definitely something that I could see myself getting into within the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, same thing over here. It's starting to grow a lot, and I mean that's a lot of my rifle builds are going towards being more competitive versus a hunting rifle. But it's fun, man. It's addicting. Getting out, hanging out with the boys, and sitting there and just getting to just rack steel is great.
Yeah, the problem is with me, if I've been hunting flat out for 4 to 5 weeks, say 3 to 5 nights a week, I don't feel like touching a rifle when I get home over weekends. I just want to do it with my family. So that's also why I quit shooting competitively, because that's something that happens over weekends. So it takes a bit too much of my family time at the moment with where I am in the business, but I'm sure I could find a balance somewhere.
Yeah, finding a balance is always the key.
Yeah, 100%.
Awesome. Well, Gino, where can our lovely listeners find you at?
Yeah, so my most active platforms are Instagram and Facebook, and there it's just G&GVarminting. And then there's on my Instagram handle, on the G&GVarminting one, there's a link tree to my YouTube page as well. On the YouTube channel, I don't really upload as much as I should. I'll probably get back into it as soon as I get some more time to do some proper editing. But at the moment, it's just so easy to create a reel on your phone for Instagram that it takes a couple of minutes and you're on. But for YouTube, I believe you need to put a bit more effort in, and for that you need time, and that's something I really don't have much of at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, same here with me with my work. That's why a lot of the stuff I'm doing now is just I can take an hour, do a podcast, get a bunch of information to people, and it's honestly about the same time or less than me doing like a 10-minute video for YouTube.
Yeah.
And for all the listeners, guys, if you guys go down in the comments or the description of the podcast, I'll have all the links to Gino's YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Again, I really appreciate you joining us, and man, I would love it if I make it out there in 2027. That'd be amazing, and I'll definitely keep in mind keeping the end of June open in case for some reason I can snag along with you guys for a cull hunt.
We'll make a plan. We'll make it happen, and I'm looking forward to having you over here.
I appreciate it, Gino. I hope you have a good drive to the spot you're going, man. How many hours you have left?
About 5.
Drive safe, man. And for anyone, I guess, listening, the cool part for this thing, it's 10 o'clock here in the U.S. and it's like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock for you in the morning.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock in the morning for Gino the following day. So again, with the weird time change, man, I really appreciate you taking the time to chat, man. It's been a pleasure.
Awesome. That was awesome. We'll do it again. We have to do it again.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Give me definitely let me know how the hunt goes.
Will do. Thanks, Joe.